All right. It's always my pleasure to reintroduce old friends and people that are coming to my YouTube channel. I introduced Tammy Lee Anderson, probably a year or two ago, whatever it was, I don't remember. And a lot of people were curious, and a lot of people listened to that interview, and then they told me, and then I said, "Don't tell me, tell Tammy." Uh, how wonderful her story was, all these great spiritual adventures, and that she needed to write a book. So that's why we're doing an interview today. She's down in her dojo. Really, seriously, she lives in a dojo, and it's beautiful grounds with a koi pond, and I mean a place to work out and meditation rooms. And she has a secret cave I can't talk about. She has all these things going, but she's written her story. And I'm going to have her come on and just talk a little bit about that. But I felt it was time for people to discover Tammy. And I believe you've done a lot of podcasts since mine. So people out there may have found you elsewhere. So, Tammy, say hello, show us your book, tell us about the process.
Well, thank you, Reverend Bill, for inviting me again on your podcast. Actually, I've only done three. I've done yours. You were the first one to interview me. Then I did Suzanne Giesman's, and then Anthony Shane did a story of my near-death experiences. So I'm not a professional podcaster or interviewer, but I'm going to be doing more because of the book. And I just want to say, first off, is thank you, because I really, this book wouldn't have happened without your encouragement, Reverend Bill. I started writing it 2 years ago, and then I put it down. And I thought, who in the world wants another book? Because there's lots of books out there. And you called me twice in a row. The first time you called, we talked probably about 15 minutes, and you just said, hey, you need to write that book. And I said, okay. And I got excited. And then I waited for about a week, and then it just kind of died down. And then all of a sudden you called back again. Hey, did I call you about that book? You really need to write it. So, and I had clients asking, where's the book? Are you writing a book? And so I really,
Speaking of which, show us the cover of the book.
this book is an answer to everybody requesting it. I did write it. 2 years took me, but here it is. And it's a collection, a spiritual memoir. It's a collection of stories of my life. And I've written it in such a way that I hope that it's inspirational for your own stories. And that's what I hope. And so anyways, I'm excited for people to read it and to give me feedback on what they think about it.
Yeah, when I think of your personal story, it's kind of like, first off, I thought mine was unique. Mine's unique and different. I mean, I haven't seen anybody, but on the female side of this, you're kind of like the opposite of me. It's like two heads of the same coin. I got this unique warrior story, but so do you.
Yeah.
And it involves the true warrior, the spiritual warrior. And uh, it is so unique, so different. And it touches on near death experiences, it touches on ghosts, intuition, mental intuitive stuff, healing, your studies abroad, you being practically a monk nun in these different organizations, and all the wonderful worldwide work that you've done. So if you can kind of give us a recap of the basis of the book, and if there's some particular story from that book that you'd like to share, just so people they got an idea what's in it for them, what can they learn, what can they get from this?
Yes. So the first part of the book, I cover two of the near-death experiences as a baby. And I didn't remember these until I was 17. But these experiences shaped my life, shaped the sensitivity level that I had all my life, which was quite a sensitivity set up from the beginning, and a draw to spirit, draw to the light, because I had experienced that. And I really don't know anything different, because that's how I started out. And so, people often report after near-death experiences, their life changed and they changed quite dramatically, but I really don't know the difference because that's the way it started. And I was actually born dead. And they had to revive me. They told my mom, oh, she didn't make it, sorry. And anyways, I go through that experience, what it was like and what it was like to remember it. And then at 17, I happened to join the military. That wasn't a good fit for me, but after that, I spent over 13 years in different religious communities. And I share a little bit about what that was like. But the draw to monastic life was very strong for me. And it's been really interesting a journey because I have that warrior side that and the peacemaker all at the same time. So to balance those has been a lifelong journey for me. How do you balance those two appearing opposites? You know, the peacemaker and the warrior. And it's been quite a journey. I'm still working on it, and I'm sure
How did you,
by the end
how'd
of
you come up
days.
with the title? The title's a beautiful title. Into Love, is that the title of the book?
The title's Into Love. It's called The Journey of Near-Death and Surrendering into Love. And the book talks a lot about surrendering into love and what that's meant for me. And hopefully what it'll mean to you by the time you get finished reading it. Surrender to me in the beginning was death. You know, to surrender meant, you know, I'd stop breathing or I'd lose the fight and that was it. I was done. And so I was always, the idea of giving up anything was not in my mind or my physiology. It was a survival kind of thing. But I realized at a certain point, and it was a realization through many experiences, not just one. I didn't have this big awakening experience. I had many, and it's been a process. And I imagine that's probably similar to a lot of people listening, that we don't usually have one awakening experience. These awakening experiences happen throughout your life, and you become more and more aware what the real deal is. You know, it's all about love. It's all about loving kindness, and that comes through time. You know, when we realize that we're safe enough, that when we do surrender into the divine, we're not going to die. We're going to actually wake up and be born again, in a sense. You know? So that's happened many times in my life, and that's what I'll share with you in this book. So it's been a journey. That's why journey is in the subtitle. It's been quite a journey.
But you know, I say warrior spirit, and people don't really get it. You do.
Yeah.
But real warriors are poets, philosophers, martial artists,
Yeah.
monks, fighters, people that are seeking wisdom. The warrior spirit is really about tapping into that inner sense, the strength, and that strength, in your case, shown through love.
Yeah.
And I think one finds that, like when I go to your dojo, you think you'd have the atmosphere of, you know, martial arts and, you know, and all that. It's almost like going to a temple.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very interesting because, Reverend Bill, I had the amazing opportunity to, you know, I've done martial arts for 44 years, and that's a long time. And I've had the amazing opportunity to work with some of the best in the world as far as martial artists. I happened to get to train with the Russian general of Sistema, a martial art that's used in the Russian army. And he was amazing. And we were at a seminar once, and there was world-class Aikido teachers, and everybody on the mat, all the Aikido students were over on his mat because the feeling was so fluid. And but I came into this contact with him, and it was like, it would almost be an honor to be to die at his hands. And that doesn't make sense to the average person, but there was no malice, there was no negativity. It would just be the next consequence of, there was no anger, there was no, I hate you. There was love, actually. And if we were, on the opposite sides of the battlefield, it wouldn't have been about anything except that's just the next step, And the thing that's really interesting about being a peaceful warrior is that there's a point where you get to the point, and I had this in France, and I write about this story where I was going down the dirt road, and it was a life or death situation, and being taken down by a gentleman, not a gentleman, he wasn't a gentleman, he was an attacker basically, and there's a point where I don't want to give away the whole story because I want you to read the book, but there's a point of letting go where at certain point in that interaction, there was no life to lose except his. I let go of my life so completely, the fear left. And this is what I talk about in the book. And I know you know this, Reverend Bill, because you've been on the battlefield, is that there's a certain point that you abandon the fear of death because and that's where your power comes from. That's when you let your life go, you find it. And it's that holding on, that desperate grasping to life that I hope comes across in this book, that when we let go of that grasping, that holding on, when we let go of that, we find our life. We find the power. And, people like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Jesus, these people weren't passive. And true warriors of love aren't passive. They put it on the line. And I've put it on the line many times. I talk about being in jail in this book, getting thrown in jail, and for what I was believing in at the time. And it's been a journey, but the way of the peaceful warrior is not one of passivity. It's one of courage. It's one of knowing that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. And it's all about love in the end, even though it might not appear that way in the middle of battle.
Thus your subtitle, this whole surrender.
Surrender, yeah. Surrendering, and when you meet that surrender, whether it be, in a relationship, whatever, if you let go of what you're grasping onto, or your idea of this is right and this is more, I'm going to fight. If you expand on that just a little bit, give it space, miracles happen.
If somebody's reading this book, what would be something that you'd want your reader to come away with? What is there a advice there, or an example from your life? Is there something for somebody to grasp for their own journey?
I hope that throughout the book, people will tap into, I've often had people, when I tell my stories, they say, oh, I can relate to that, and it's part of their story as well. That's what I hope. This is not a 7-step to find this, or 7-step to enlightenment. It's not a map. It's Suzanne Giesemann read this and she said it feels more like a transmission. And maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I feel like when people read this, they're gonna find things that are common with her in their own life, and that's what my hope is. There's no cookie cutter. This is how you do it, because everybody's life and the answers to their life is within them. And the theme of my whole book is the door has always been within, and the key has always been love. And so I don't have a cookie cutter to anybody's life. I don't have 7 steps or 3 steps to the answers to your life. And it would be nice, people say, well, can you tell me how to get there? It's like, no, it's the kingdom of God is within you. The power is within you. That's where you find it. Hopefully this will be an inspiration to go there, because we don't need more gurus in this world. We need people to wake up that they're their own guru, that the kingdom of God is within you, that the truth, the purpose of your life is within you. It's not outside, it's within. And I've often said, gurus, they're great, but it kind of reminded me of a statue in a park. The good thing about a statue, or not such a good thing is about the statues, is the birds shit all over them. And so we don't need a bunch of statues in the park anymore. We need to start looking at our own power as community, as people of love. And one of the best advice one of my teachers gave me once is martial arts teacher. He said, just be yourself, and I was like, well, what's that? It's like, go think about it, go live it, be yourself. And so it's not a cookie cutter, but I hope that it's not a 7-step, but it is a book. I hope that it will inspire you to go within and to see the light within your own heart. That's what
Obviously, Susan Geisman read your manuscript and she was impressed enough to write the foreword for it.
Yeah,
Uh,
just couldn't put it down.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading that. I've read pretty much the rest of your book, but I didn't read her forward. So I'm offering this as a gift to other people out there. Uh, this is a book that they should read, that they will not be disappointed in. I give it my personal endorsement. I've encouraged this book from the beginning,
Yes, you have.
and I find your stories, especially when I read the manuscript, there's integrity to them.
Yeah.
It's not bragging.
Mm.
It's not ego. In fact, if anything, you're guilty of undertelling the mystical, supernatural qualities of these things. You kind of tell the story without throwing it on you. And that I appreciate. So, is there anything you'd like to tell people, like how they can get this book, where it's at?
So this book, I'm making it available first on my website, and it's a little cheaper on the website. So if you go there, it's a better place to get it than Amazon, but it'll be available on Amazon. It'll be available around the world. So that's a good thing. Just go to my website at healingwellness.com and then /book, because I have a book page right there, and all you have to do is order it. And so what else? Yeah, I want it. It's being printed by a company in UK, so the quality of the book is very good. Amazon has good quality too, but not as good as the place in the UK. So they've been doing printing for a long time, and I'm quite impressed with it. So I don't know what else I can say about it.
Into Love is really kind of summarizes your life journey.
Yeah, it does. It's a memoir, spiritual memoir.
Just the short years I've known you. And I think when people are talking about you, there's love, there's integrity, and it's all from this warrior spirit, which surprises some people because you're trying to explain warrior spirit is not passive energy. It's actually courageous doing. It's about doing, not just being passive.
Yeah. And humility is important. Because it's not about, love is not about building your own ego. It's actually letting go of that ego, because like in combat, if you have that ego, usually that's the person that gets knocked down first, So yeah, so you don't have to be a martial artist to understand the concepts that I'm putting forward in this book. I am a martial artist, and I use that as a part of my framework because that's how I live my life. But there's principles of humility, courage, honor, loyalty. These are martial arts qualities, but they're also qualities of love, and so you don't have to be a martial artist or a monk to understand this book.
Well, for those people that have gone and watched some really super videos on Anthony Chene, his YouTube channel is wonderful. I wrote him about yours because I was impressed. He did a real good quality edit job on
Amazing
yours, and
job.
he captured the real essence of who you are. So if people
Yeah.
haven't seen that interview, watch it because that's professional. This is just this old Irishman talking to a. But when he does a video, it's presented very professional and just like
Yeah,
your
you're professional, Reverend Bill, and I loved what you do in the world and the love you share. And again, and everybody needs to know that I dedicated this book to you, Reverend Bill, as well as my sister. So those two people I love, very, very much. And so this book is dedicated to you and your inspiration. And it really wouldn't have happened without your encouragement. So I want to thank you again for that, because I would have never written it.
your smile is a word enough. Thank you. I'm honored. So
Thank you.
any parting words you want to say before we go?
I just hope you enjoy it, and let me know what you think.
All right, we'll have your contact information in the description on the YouTube channel. Blessings and peace to you, Tammy.
Yes, peace and peace to you.
Post a copy of the book again.
It is. There you go.
Into love.
And to love.
God bless.
God bless you. Thank you.